Voila.
So today I'm here with Andreas Kasper, who is a sports nutritionist at a number of sports clubs in the UK, and he's going to tell us what we're cooking today.
So we've got this exciting jerk chicken style recipe. I guess the benefit for you guys on seeing this today is it's very adaptable to circumstances. So whether your goals are to increase muscle mass or overall weight, or whether your goals are to drop body fat, you can easily sort of adapt and tweak the recipe to meet your needs. So for example, if your goal is calories and increase weight, you can do things like cooking with chicken thighs with skin on, or potentially using something like coconut cream as opposed to low-fat coconut milk, adding nuts or kidney beans to the rice, things like that. And then if you're looking to drop a little bit of weight, or particularly skin folds, potentially substituting some of those carbohydrates out, some of the rice, and putting in a few more micronutrients. Or it might even be periodizing the recipe so that, you know, higher carbs as you're leading into a game day or on those really high intensity days, or dropping the carbs for some of those veg options on lower intensity days or rest days.
And the total cost for all the ingredients here today is about £15, but that's including all the dry ingredients that you'll have for about 6 months or so. So all the spices, the oil, the soy sauce, things like that, you'll have for a long time. So all you need to get is the chicken, some of the fresh veg, the coconut milk.
Okay, so just going through some of the general chopping, starting with coriander. We just want to strip the leaves off the stalk like this. And it takes a little bit of time, but it's really nice, fresh, as opposed to dried coriander. Then just with chopping, we want to just pull it into a bit of a ball and chop, keeping your fingers out the way. You can put your hand on the top of the knife and you can chop a little bit quicker. Just with the garlic, again, you'll want to squash it, take the skin off, and then with the flat side of your knife, just crush the garlic. Just prior to chopping makes it a lot easier, and the garlic comes apart a lot better. Just moving on to the chili, we're just going to chop the ends off and down the middle, and then depending on how spicy you want, a lot of the spice comes from the seeds, so we're going to keep this one quite mild and strip a lot of the seeds out, and then we're just going to dice it nice and thinly to go into the marinade that we're going to use. So this is our chili, and then finally spring onion, we're just going to strip off the outside, and then again just chop it nice and finely, just along the course of it.
And so for the marinade, we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil, then 2 tablespoons of Lea and Perrins sauce or Worcestershire sauce, then in with the garlic that we chopped earlier, the chilies, add as much or as little as you like, depending on how spicy you want it. Then we're adding a tablespoon each of the spices that we've listed in the recipe and just mixing that in with the oil, chili and garlic. Then we're going to go in with a little bit of water, as you'll see, just a splash, just to loosen the texture so it moves around the chicken slightly nicer and we can use it to cook in as well.
So we're now just going to fry off the outside of the chicken and do what we call sealing. So we're going to put the chicken round in the marinade just so it's nicely covered. And again, we don't need to drain too much of the liquid off, but we're just going to make sure it's nice and moist going in the pan, and do each of the chicken thighs one by one individually, remembering which order we put it in.
Make sure the pan is nice and hot before you start cooking, so pretty much as soon as the chicken hits, it starts to sizzle, so it gets really good colour on the outside, like you can see here as we turn them over. And we're pretty much just waiting for them to get some colour on the outside before we transfer to an oven-safe dish.
And then if you just stick the rest of your marinade just over the top of the chicken, that's going to hopefully absorb some of that. We're just going to put the chicken in the oven quickly, probably 180 degrees, and you're just going to cook until it goes white throughout. Okay, so then we're just going to move on while the chicken's in the oven onto the coconut rice. You'll want to leave this till quite last minute because it goes quite quick. You want to heat the coconut milk up in a pan just until it's boiling, and in the meantime just put the basmati rice, potentially this Uncle Ben's microwavable, into the microwave for your 2 minutes, and then just scoop half of it, maybe 2/3, again depending on what carb content you want for the dish, into the coconut rice, the coconut milk. You're then going to just stir it up and break it up so the rice really absorbs any of the coconut texture and flavour, and just keep sizzling it till it's nice and thick.
And this is quite an easy way, a much simpler and faster way of making proper coconut rice using microwave rice. We typically use that quite a lot to save time and make dishes like this slightly simpler.
So then once the rice is finished, we're just going to add in some of the spring onions last minute so that they don't cook, just so they're still nice and crunchy in the rice. Chicken comes out the oven, and we're just going to use a probe. Again, a really, really easy and simple way of checking that your chicken's cooked, just to make sure you avoid any food poisoning issues. Again, you want this to be probably over about 70-75 degrees, just to be on the safe side. Just from a plating up perspective, we're just going to spoon the majority of the rice that you've cooked, depending on how you've portion controlled it, onto the plate in a nice pile. And then 3+ chicken thighs, again, depending on what your goals are, onto the plate next to it, and drizzle some of the marinade over the top. Add a little bit of that chopped coriander, and we're absolute gold.